on the houses and the homes and the communities around us. Because you see, I believe that during this time we've had such an opportunity to connect bridges with family, with people. I've been talking to all sorts of people. I talked to a father the other day and I said, what have you learned during this crazy season? And he's learned, I could have lost my daughter, but actually being slowed down helped me find her. He said, I'm married to a nurse. And so when everything hit, we've got 4 kids. He said, my daughter is 14. And I ended up doing the homeschooling because I was at home. And he said, my daughter looked at me and said, no, I'm not doing anything with you. I don't like you. I want mum. He said, I was so, and this is not a non-Christian. This is someone in the church. He said, I was so shocked that that's what my daughter really felt. And he said, I began to realize that that I've disconnected a thing. So he said, I began to think, what can I teach her? And I'm thinking, well, I'm good at maths, I'm good at this and that. And he said, I was out doing my run and the Holy Spirit said, don't give her education, give her you.
Give her you, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. And so he said, I began to be at home. I was in the moment with my girl. He said, I began to say to her, okay, we need to do PE, you need to do some physical exercise. Come running with me. Nah, no, come on, well, I'll train you. And because he said that's something I love to do. He said, we then set up a rhythm to go running. We begin to talk. He said, at the end of lockdown, he said, my daughter said to me, Dad, you know what I miss most is you. I have to go back to school now. He said, but that they do some things, but not what you do. And you see, home birthing, it's, yes, I believe we're going to go house to house. We're going to help people with their marriages. But even within the homes, we've begun to realize how to restructure and realign. But we're going to bring people to Jesus. I believe loads of people have got saved online. I had a girl who works for the CID police force phone me up. She came through the office, got the number, and I said, yes, give her my number. And she talked about, she's married to someone who's in the military. So he was out doing that, she's in the police. Came home, lives in South Counties. Came home and found that her husband had left her a note basically saying, it's finished, get out. She said, I was so angry. I began to think how I could trash the place. What I could. Then I'm thinking, you're a police officer, domestic violence. And she said, there was like all this conflict. And she said, then I just flicked the TV on. She said, I don't know how, but you were on it. And somehow our YouTube, which was a message of hope, came on, talking about the person of the Holy Spirit who fills you and enables you to have good character. She said, I then couldn't move. She said, I don't know what happened. I believe she met Jesus, got born again, filled with Spirit. She said, I began coughing and spluttering and my head clear. And she said, I couldn't move. The whole program to watch. She said, I began watching everything else. Cut long story short, she found God. You see, God has been meeting people in our homes, but we cannot turn our back on this all. I believe it's not just about, can we open our church and get everyone, you know, can we have 50 in church or 100 in church or we want 500 back. But let's turn our back on our own flesh and blood, those being born. You know, many people have loved that program, Call the Midwife. To tell you the truth, I haven't watched it, but I know my daughter-in-law loves it. But I feel the Holy Spirit is calling the midwives. Go in there, get alongside people, help them, mentor them.